الحمد لله وكفى سلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم كل نفس ذائقة الموت ونبلوكم بالشر والخير فتنة وإلينا ترجعون سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the one who created us. He is the one who provides for us. He is the one who is in control of everything. He is the one who is in charge of anything. He is the one who helps us in the time of our needs. He is the one who does everything. And He subhanahu wa ta'ala has made us come into this life for a purpose. And that purpose is that He tests us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created life and death so that He can test that who comes back to Him with good actions. And that's the sole purpose of the creation of our life and death. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to test us. Everybody has his own conditions. Right? Some people Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them health. And the purpose of health is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to test. Some people Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make them sick. I mean, if you go into the hospital, we'll realize that subhanallah, there are so many people who can't eat, who can't drink, cannot sleep, cannot breathe, cannot even go to the toilet, cannot walk, cannot talk. Right? It's ajib, they're amazing people. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them that sickness so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could test them. Some people Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give a lot of wealth, and there are some people Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not give wealth. You go into some countries like Pakistan, India, you will see 5 people begging on the streets, literally. There are some general people who literally don't have anything. There are people I've seen with my own eyes, the people getting food out of the dumpsters. People literally don't have to eat, anything to eat. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says that I give wealth to whoever He wishes, and He withholds it from whoever He wishes so that He can test. Right? Some people Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them every blessing, and everything is a blessing, right? The houses that we live in, and the clothes that we wear, and we can go on and on, right? Everything is a blessing of Allah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives all these blessings so that He can test. Everything is a test by itself, right? But on top of that, what happens is sometimes things are moving in a certain state. Everybody, for example, people are wealthy, they remain wealthy, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep on giving them things because it's in their taqdeer, it's in their fate. Some people are poor, they remain poor, right? Because that's what's in their fate. But suddenly sometimes what happens is that things change. The life that we are living, suddenly there comes a change in the lives of the people. And that's, of course, that's a test as well. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends people these kind of changes as an additional test. And everything is a test, that's for sure. Right? Even if it's good or if it's bad, that's a test. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them these tests so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can check their iman. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends them these tests because He wants to check their iman. That how does this person behave in this certain state, in this change that I have given. Right? For example, some people are very, very intellectual, very intelligent, right? And they go and sit in the exam and suddenly at the time of the exam they're totally blank. They cannot just produce anything. And that's a test for that person. How does he behave in that situation? Some people are so wealthy and suddenly a financial crisis comes and they lose everything. That's a test. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to test him. How does he behave in that certain condition? Some people are poor and suddenly they go and shop, like for example in one of the stores at the end of their shopping they fill out these coupons, right? They put on that coupon in one of the that raffles and suddenly they get like $1 million. Right? That's a test. And this test, all of these tests, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala call them fitna in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has, in many, many times in the Quran, He has termed all of these things as fitna. And fitna in Arabic language, it is something that is used to put gold in fire, because when we could put gold in fire, what happens is that all the impurities that come out of that gold. So if there is like a pure gold and an impure gold, and if that's put in the fire, then a goldsmith, he can test if that is a pure gold or whatever impurities are in that gold, they can easily be separated from that. That's what fitna in Arabic language is. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used the same word for these tests and trials. Because what happens in these tests and trials is that all the impurities that the people have in their heart, they come out. So people do not realize, they do not take Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as their Lord. They don't have that iman. They don't realize that all the things, the blessings that they have got, they're from Allah, right? Or if they're in a certain state that's not pleasing to them, if they don't realize that's from Allah, then when these kind of tests and trials they come, the purity of their iman comes out. So a person, for example, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives him a lot of wealth, right, and he does not realize it's from Allah, he becomes arrogant. He starts feeling arrogance in his heart because he never thinks that it's from Allah, right? So when he's getting all of that, he starts thinking low of the people that don't have money. If people are intelligent, for example, if they don't realize it's from Allah, right, then the people who cannot produce, who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not given so much intelligence as he has or she has been given, then what happens is they start feeling low of the people who cannot produce in the class or in the tests or wherever. Okay? When people are, for example, poor and they get suddenly like these $1 million in their raffles, right? If they do not realize it's from Allah, then they start feeling like arrogant again in their hearts, and they totally forget about what their state was like a few minutes ago, and suddenly their mind and their heart changes, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that everything that has been given to you is a test, is a trial, so that I can test that what kind of situation are you in. وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّمَا أَمْوَالُكُمْ وَأَوْلَادُكُمْ فِتْنَةٌ. Your wealth, your children, and they're all trials. It's kind of a trial. When you have children, right, and it's time for prayer, and your little one, small 2-year-old, and he or she starts like playing with you, right, and they do certain things that really you don't want to leave them at certain point, at that particular point. And it's time for prayer. Once Prophet ﷺ was giving khutbah on the minbar. It's like, and Sayyidina Hussein and Sayyidina Hassan radiallahu anhum, they came. They just walked into the masjid, small little kids. And Prophet ﷺ felt so much love in his heart because of his softness of the heart and his gentleness in the heart. He couldn't resist that. He came down the minbar, held them up, hugged them, and then he recited this ayah, وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّمَا أَمْوَالُكُمْ وَأَوْلَادُكُمْ فِتْنَةٌ. That verily these are tests. Right? There are people who have children and they could have lived their lives very normal, like without getting halal rizq, everything very according to the Sharia, according to the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then these children come and start demanding things that he cannot afford. Then he goes and tries to find his money from ways that are unlawful. Right? So all of these things, the children, the wealth that people have, they're all trials. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to test that how do you behave in certain conditions. If I give you wealth, do you feel that arrogance in your heart? Do you feel that you are above a certain kind of people? Right? And as I said, everything is a fitna. Even good and even bad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut, that every person will taste death. وَنَبْلُوَكُمْ بِالشَّرِّ وَالْخَيْرِ فِتْنَةٌ. And I test you by evil and by good. So bishar and bil khair. Sometimes some things that we feel are as bad, that's also fitna. Some things that we feel are good, they're also fitna. Right? Person doing his job suddenly gets a promotion. He feels it's khair for him, right? At the same time, it's trial. And if you take a step back, the thing is sometimes we feel that it's good. We don't know if it's good or it's not good. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that عَسَىٰ أَن تَكْرَهُ شَيْئًا وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. There are things that you get in your life that you detest, that you hate, that you don't like that, but they're good for you. وَعَسَىٰ أَن تُحِبُّوا شَيْئًا وَهُوَ كُرْهٌ لَكُمْ وَهُوَ شَرٌّ لَكُمْ. And sometimes you like a few things, but they're not good for you. They're shar, they're bad for you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاللَّهُ يَعْلَمُ وَأَنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Allah knows, you don't know. So we don't know that the things that happen with us, if they're good for us or if they're bad for us. Sometimes we are making dua, oh Allah, give me this, 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 and you don't get it. Many times it happens. People want to marry, and they're like making dua, oh Allah, get me married, get me married, get me married. And sometimes you also put conditions on top. Allah, get me married to person A, B, and C, right? And you don't get it. And this person again is a test, and you don't get it. And there are people who lose hope at the end of the day. You know, Billah, they come up with statements like, Allah never listens to me. Billah. Allah always listens. Allah always listens. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even knows what's going in our heart and our minds. We feel that we call out to Allah and Allah doesn't listen. Allah does. But the thing is, عَسَىٰ أَن تُحِبُّوا شَيْئًا وَهُوَ شَرٌّ لَكُمْ. Sometimes we feel that's good for us, but it's bad for us. We don't know, right? What if that person gets married to that person, and at the end of the day, that turns out to be a disaster? Sometimes we ask for Allah, Allah, get me married, and like 3, 4, 5, 10 years pass by, and you don't get your proper match, and then people start losing hope. Don't know. I mean, Allah knows. I mean, people think that's good for them to get married at that particular point. But you never know, because you might be still childish. You don't know, right? So we don't know. Allah knows, right? So the thing is that everything we should take it as a test. If we don't get something, it's a test. If we get something, it's a test. We don't know what the things that we are getting, if it's good, if they're not good for us. So we should take everything as a test. People get married and they feel that everything is sorted out. It's still a test, right? The way that you behave with your spouses, the husbands behave with their wives and wives behave with their husband. It's a test. Every single moment that they pass by, right? We have been asked to live in a certain state, in a certain condition. We have to behave in a certain manner. If we don't, right, it's like if we do or if we don't, it's a test. So everything is a test. And this is something that we all should realize. Right? We go to our workplaces and we meet across certain people. Right? It's a test because you never know what's going to happen next. This person will start talking about a person A, B, and C that's not present in there, right? And it's kind of a backbiting, right? It is backbiting. So just meeting with another person becomes a test. Now it's up to you. How do you deal with that certain condition? If you really believe in Allah and the last day. So what we need to do is that we save our iman in any condition that we get. All the trials and then the tests that we get in our life, we have to make sure that we handle that certain condition in the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes. Right? That's what we need to do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ عَلَى حَرْفٍ. That there are amongst people who do worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as if they're on the verge. They're like just walking on the boundaries of our deen. فَإِنْ أَصَابَهُ خَيْرٌ اطْمَأَنَّ بِهِ. That when that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keeps them in good condition, right? They're very, very content with that. They feel, you know what, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very happy with me. All the things that I've been doing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not displeased with me at all. Right? But when أَصَابَتْهُ فِتْنَةٌ, what? انقلب على وجهه. Then they turn their backs. And we see these kind of people, right? You see them coming to the masjid all the time, making du'as, doing dhikr. And suddenly you don't find them in the masjid anymore for a few days. You know what happened? Where were you? Oh, you know what? things weren't going right. Right? I suddenly lost my business. My son wasn't behaving well. My son was sick. You know what? All of these kind of things. In fact, that was the time that we should have gone more to the masjid. We should have made more du'as. We should have made more zikr. Right? But the problem is when everything is right, then our life is normal as well. It's according to the routine. Everything is just like, I mean, if we take it as a routine, that's the problem, right? But the thing is, if it's really coming from Allah, right? If you're doing it for Allah, that can only be tested when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changes things sometimes. And this is the reason that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sometimes changes things. تِلْكَ الْأَيَّامُ نُدَاوِلُهَا بَيْنَ النَّاسِ. That I keep changing things, days on people. We think that every day is the same day. It's not the same day. If we don't have the same kayfiyat, same state, same condition within our heart, that means it's a different day. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sometimes gives people certain states. Sometimes you're praying, tears coming out of your eyes, reading the Quran, you are so much into it, and the next day you are praying the same ayat, right, same prayer, but then you feel so hard in your heart that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has changed the day. Sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just to give that free taste to people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them that how nafsul mutma'inna looks like, feels like. Right? When we go into the market, there are people who are marketing. They have these free samples. They give you like, you know what, why don't you test our chocolate? It's new in the market. Test it. If you like it, you buy it. Right? They're giving free samples out. This is exactly sometimes what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does to people. He gives them free samples. He gives them, if you attain nafsul mutma'inna, this is how you're going to get. This is how you're going to feel. This is how you're going to taste. And sometimes you're in prayer and you feel so good about it. Right? You are in your muraqabah and you're out of this world. You're feeling so high. You're in a dhikr mahfil, right? And you have your teacher with you. You're feeling so good. And the same teacher, same people, same zikr, same muraqabah. And you feel as if you're sleeping, you want to run away from that mahfil sometimes. What is that? It's because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you a free sample, right? And now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to struggle to buy that free sample. That thing that you felt. So this is all test, my friends. Every state is a test. Every state is a fitna. Every state is a trial for us. Right? There are people who leave muraqabah. Why have you left muraqabah? I don't feel like doing it anymore. I'm not getting anything out of it. What do you mean by that? Sometimes we go and have to meet, for example, a person of high post, right? You go and even like small people, not even a high post, somebody comes and wants to meet you, and you know what, I'm busy, please ask him to wait. I just went to the Salat office a few days ago just to get a SIM card. That you wait at the reception. And I was feeling, I have a meeting to go to, and I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And then the lady came after 15, 20 minutes, whatever. Right? So if we have to wait even to get something, to achieve something, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the king of the kings. And you have to wait. You have to wait. I mean, just sitting in muraqabah and doing this, waiting for the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to fall on the heart is like waiting. And if we have to achieve something, if you're really after that thing, I could have run away from that office in that day, but I wanted that SIM card. That's why I thought that I've come all the way here, so I should rather wait and get that SIM card and go back. So if we really want the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to fall on our hearts, we have to wait. Even if you feel or if you don't feel it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sometimes, He doesn't give us, as I said, it's all test. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to test us. That how much does he do his muraqabah? How much does he do his zikr? How much does he really want to attain my love? How much he really he's after me? He's after me, or he just want to gain some good like halat or tests? What is he after? He's after me, or he's after some certain states, right? And once person passed that test, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He doesn't let people, like if people have come to meet Him and they're waiting in a waiting room, do you feel that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will just let them go without His meeting? No. If they come with desire, with talab, and if they're really waiting there to get His mercy and to get His pleasure and get His love, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala certainly give them that. It's for us that how do we pass that test and that state of test and trial. And certainly what our mashayikh say is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even if people don't feel all their life anything in their muraqabah, in their zikr, just before they're about to depart from this world, they get that pleasure. They get that state that they're looking for all their life. Again, عسى أن تحبوا شيئا وهو كره لكم وهو شر لكم, right? Sometimes you feel that's good, it's not good for you. Sometimes people start feeling that good state, like for example the first time that they sit in muraqabah, or every time they sit in muraqabah. There are people who start feeling, they become awliya of Allah. They feel, what, I am the best person on the face of the earth. Right? They start feeling that ujab in their heart, that arrogance in their heart. So it will cause them more destruction than the benefit that they get out of it. So that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sometimes don't let people feel that state. It doesn't mean that you're not getting that state. If you're waiting in that waiting room to meet Allah, you're sitting in that muraqabah, if you're there to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you certainly get the benefits of that. Sometimes you feel it and sometimes you don't feel it. And once you don't feel it, it's for your own benefit. And as I said, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't let those people go away without His meeting. If that coming and waiting in the waiting room is with a desire, is with talab, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always gives reward for that. He always let them meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they get that benefit sometimes at the time of their death. They go with iman. If they go with kalima, that's enough. That is the meeting. Because as a result of that, what will happen is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give these people His vision in Jannah, in paradise. So this word was just a place of test. It was a trial for them, that how much do you struggle? How much did you have talab, your desire in your heart? Right? And was that solely for my sake or for something else? Or did you lose hope in me? Right? You did it for like a day or two or a month or 2 months or a year or 2 years or 5 years, and then you lost hope. What was that for? It was just to get some pleasure and to get some halat and get some like feelings and states. If it was for that, then it was not solely for the sake of Allah. There was no ikhlas behind that. But it was for the reason because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordered us, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu uzkurullaha dhikran kathira, that oh you believe, remember Allah with much remembrance. If it was for that sake, then we do it all our life, irrespective of what kind of situations do we go through. We pass that state of test and trial by not achieving certain states, right? But solely doing it for the sake of Allah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will certainly reward these people. As I said, either, I mean, He can give it any time. He can give it now, He can give it in 2 years, He can give it in 10 years, He can give it at the time of your death, or at least give you, if you don't feel that, you don't taste that, at least He gives you the death with the kalima on your tongue, and then have the meeting in the paradise. And He'll give you certainly at some stage. The thing is, if you have to pass that test, we should never ever lose hope. We should never, if it's all going good, if the muraqabah is going good, everything is good around you, and then if say for example things start changing, you don't start getting that feeling, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says you were worshipping as if you were on the verge, on the boundaries, and at the time that you start feeling bad about it, then you just finish all these azkar. You finish all your ma'mulat, your routines, right? وَمِنَ النَّاسِ يَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ عَلَى حَرْفٍ فَإِنْ أَصَابَهُ خَيْرٌ اطْمَأَنَّ بِهِ. When everything is good, you're content. وَإِنْ أَصَابَتْهُ فِتْنَةٌ. Right? What happened? Whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts you in trial, انقلب على وجهه, then you turn on your back. You leave everything. You don't go for prayer anymore. Don't go to the masjid anymore. You don't sit in muraqabah anymore. You don't do your ma'mulat, your schedules anymore. What was the purpose? That's the thing, right? We have to ask ourselves, why do we do all of these? When we go and sit in the company of righteous people, what's the intent behind that? We have to check our intentions in the heart. What is when we behave in a certain manner to few people, to our parents, to our spouses, to our children, like everybody. What's the intent behind that? If they talk to us in a good manner, we're good with them, and certainly they scold us, and we just turn on our backs. What was the intent? Was it for Allah, or was it for that they love us, they like us? What was the intent? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changes things, and that change is to test us. The fitna, to take out impurities, to check what were the impurities in the heart. How pure was the iman? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا قَبْلَكَ مِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ إِلَّا إِنَّهُمْ لَيَأْكُلُونَ الطَّعَامَ وَيَمْشُونَ فِي الْأَسْوَاقِ وَجَعَلْنَا بَعْدُكُمْ لِبَعْدٍ فِتْنَةً. There are people around us who are also a test for us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that I have made a few people as a test for other people. Sometimes our parents become a fitna for us. You want to do a few things, they don't let us do those things for Allah. Of course it's for something that's against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's orders. They are right in saying what they're saying. But sometimes kids want to walk on the path of Allah, parents don't let them do that. Now this is a test. وَجَعَلْنَا بَعْدُكُمْ لِبَعْدٍ فِتْنَةً. Their shooting is like a double-edged sword. You have to walk on the path of Allah. At the very same time, you have to respect your parents. Even if they are mushrik, even if they are people who do not believe in Allah, still you have to respect them. But at the very same time, you cannot leave the path of Allah. Sometimes there are spouses. One of the spouse, he or she wants to walk on the path of Allah. The other doesn't let them do it. It's a double-edged sword. Right? You have to walk on the path of Allah. At the very same time, you have to handle that situation very wisely. You don't want to break it. You want to handle it. Sometimes there are parents, children, they want to walk on the path of Allah. Children don't let them walk on the path of Allah. Sometimes parents change. I've seen parents changing. They want to leave all the rubbish that they've been doing all their life. They don't want to go on movies anymore. They don't want to go into certain parties anymore. And the kids are after them. What has happened to you? It's a double-edged sword. You have to treat with them nicely, but at the same time, you don't want to do what they're asking you to do. It's all fitna, it's all trial. But at the end of the day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should supersede everybody. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's orders, His commands, His hukm should be above everything. And we should learn that. We should learn how to deal with every situation. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts us in certain situation, in certain trial, in certain test, then we should learn how to handle that, how to pass that test. Right? If people lose money, people gain money. If people like, if other people are become test for them, how to handle all of these situations. There are certain ways that we have to handle those situations, and we have to learn them. We have to learn that. We have to go to a person of knowledge, our mashayikh, right? We have to go to them and ask them, this is how we are going, this is the condition that I'm going through. How should I handle this situation? We should always go back to our teachers. We should have a teacher, number one. And we should ask them how to handle that situation. So this is something that we always have to have in back of our minds. That every moment that we are passing through, every single breath that we take, that's a test. Sometimes we are driving down the road, right, and we get into a traffic jam. We get stuck in a traffic jam, and we have to reach a certain place at a certain time. Then we start, like, really, if we have children around us, or we have our spouse sitting next to us, we start screaming to that person. Sometimes we start behaving in a manner that we shouldn't be behaving. That's a test. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't want you to be at that place at that certain time. That's why you're stuck. I was just with a few brothers in the UK, and we had to reach a certain place, and the what's that called? GPS. It said, it will take you 1 hour and 20 minutes to reach that place. And that brother, he drove really fast. I said, why are you driving that fast? He said, I want to shave off 20 minutes. And subhanallah, he was really driving fast. And then when we had to take that exit from the motorway, it said, exit closed. And we had to take the next exit. And it took us through that country road, and eventually when we reached that, it was exactly 1 hour and 20 minutes. Subhanallah. It's all qadr. We have to realize that everything comes with the hukam of Allah. We have to do our best, but then we have to realize that if we get into a few situations, if you get into a few conditions, that's a test. We have to behave. We have to behave in every condition. Right? This is what all this life is about. الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا. That I have only created life and death so that I can see that who comes back to me with good actions. That's all what all the purpose of life is. So never lose hope. Always behave. Always realize everything's from Allah. Always realize that. Right? Never feel arrogant. Never have this ujab. Never feel like go into a condition of self-praise. Always realize that everything is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Always feel yourself as low. Always feel that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there who is in control of everything. And once you feel yourself as low, once you feel yourself as completely submissive to Allah, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will raise you up. Man tawada'a lillahi rafa'ahu Allah. That whoever humbles himself for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raises those people up. And that only comes by realizing that everything is from Allah, everything is in control of Allah, everything happens with the will of Allah, everything is for Allah, we are for Allah, we should live our life for Allah, and we are going back to Allah. That only this kind of condition only comes when we have this realization in our heart. And every time, every single moment that we live in our lives, we should take it as a test, even if it's good or if it's bad. And we should not feel that if we are in certain condition that we feel is good, that is really good, we should ask Allah that, oh Allah, make it good. And if we are in a condition that we feel that's kind of not pleasing to us, we should always ask Allah, oh Allah, make it good for us. And as I said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Wallahu ya'lamu wa antum la ta'lamun. Allah knows, you don't know. Allah knows that if this condition that you are in, if it's good for you or it's bad for you. We should always ask khair from Allah. Oh Allah, whatever condition that you put me, it's not pleasing to me, but Allah, make it good for me. And Allah leave it to Allah as to how does He want to change it. But we should ask for khair. Sometimes people ask for, like, Allah, give me children, give me children, give me children. Right? And they don't get children. And sometimes it may be good for them. Who knows that the children that they're going to get, they're going to become rebellious to Allah. So it's better not to have those children than having children who are rebellious to you and to Allah. So I always ask for khair. Always, any condition that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts us in, we should always ask Allah, Allah, make it good for us, all of us. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us realize all of this, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always give us khair, always give us barakah, never put us in a trial that we are not able to withstand. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.